So when we say Haus Ebonii, it's not spelled the same way as a brick and mortar house like the one that we're in. And then let's maybe see if together we can explain what it is. What is a house and where did it come from?
Mm-hmm. I actually think I don't think we can start that without talking about Ballroom.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I agree. I totally agree.
What's poppin'? My name's Shy Friend.
My name is Rowan.
Hi, I'm Ian from Apollo Western Cup.
My name is Dana Demento.
My name is Katie.
We are from the Haus of Ebonii, and you are watching
We're in Alberta.
Welcome back to Queer in Alberta, the podcast where I chat with 2S LGBTQIA+ Albertans from all across the province to share their stories. If you are new here, welcome to Season 4. My name is Kels Valenzuela Delamarter. I'm your host. I use she, her pronouns, and this podcast is filmed and recorded right here on Treaty 7 territory, home of the Blackfoot Confederacy and the Otipemisiwak Métis government in the Alberta District Number 1. Besties, we have guests joining us all the way up north from Edmonton, Alberta, and I am so excited about this episode because these are folks that I've been wanting to get onto the show for a very long time. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's introduce them. The Haus of Ebonii is Alberta's first and only that we know of all-black drag and performance house. This group of performers came together in March 2024, so still quite recently, and it's comprised of 5 individual members. We've got Gabby Menora, the founder and president of the house, Saint Solstice, CallmeKeeks, Mix Jackson, and Lucian LaPearl. So the 5 of them came together in Edmonton to create the Haus of Ebonii, and they've done quite a few amazing things since getting started. I was joined by CallmeKeeks and Lucian LaPearl on behalf of the house, and we had such a fun, amazing conversation that honestly, it didn't feel right to try and condense it into the usual 40 to 50 minutes for an episode. So that's why, drumroll please, we're doing something a little differently on the show today. As a Queer in Alberta first, we are actually going to be splitting their conversation that they had with me into 2 parts. This is part 1, in which we're actually going to talk a lot about ballroom culture. If you heard me say the term house earlier and you're feeling a little confused, why are we talking about construction? Don't worry, this is the episode for you. In this first part of our conversation, it was inevitable for us to talk about not only where does the term house come from, or others like it, but to really get into the heart of where so much of queer culture comes from as we understand it broadly today, and to identify, recognize, and name how so much of it comes from and continues to come from QTBIPOC voices. In the conversation, we all had the same realization at pretty much the exact same moment that if we were going to try and talk about where does the term house come from, it would not be possible without having a larger conversation about ballroom culture and the history of ballroom. So for those of you who are wanting to understand more deeply queer culture as we recognize it today and its origins, this is going to be a really beautiful episode. And of course, it is not comprehensive, even though Lu, who does the majority of the sharing on this topic with their expertise, even though Lu is doing a fantastic job, there is still so much to learn. I had such a fun time chatting with my friends from the Haus of Ebonii. I am so grateful that they made the time to meet with me and record and share their stories here on Queer in Alberta. I think the province is made richer for their talent, for their kindness, and I'm just so happy that we are able to amplify what they're doing, not just in Edmonton, but the ripples and waves that they are making all across Alberta. This is Edmonton, Alberta's The Haus of Ebonii, joining me here in Lethbridge, Alberta, to talk about what it's like being Alberta's first and only all-black drag, burlesque, and performance house.
We are joined, as I said, with CallmeKeeks and Lucian LaPearl. I'm so happy to have them in the studio. It's been a long time coming, I feel. Do you remember? Was it
since season 1?
Oh my God. Which, thank you for your patience, Mama. It is a little difficult when there's all that province between us.
Everything. There's just so much of it.
It's a little homophobic, a little inconvenient, I fear. But we made it. We're doing it. So I'm so happy to bring you both onto the show and to meet you two as well. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Yeah. I love talking about being gay.
I'm black.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, and we're in a weird place where it's just nice to be able to talk about that more.
Yeah. Well, that was a huge part of why I was so excited to bring you folks onto the show because A, I admire your art and what you're doing, but as myself being a Filipino queer person and doing this work, it's always been important to me to bring folks with their own unique intersectionalities and identities. So we're making some history today. We're doing some cool stuff today. But are you ready for Quickfire Queer?
Yes.
Quickfire Queer, 5 fruity questions, 5 seconds to answer. I think you can do it.
Let's do it.
First question, if your house was competing on Queer Survivor, which house member is getting voted off the island? First. You can even go by process of elimination, but you got 5 seconds. Beep.
Oh, baby, I love you so much, Gabby Benora.
I feel like she'd fall asleep first.
Wait. So I've never met Gabby, and that was too juicy. Why? We're going to change the rules.
I can tell you right now, Gabby is not coming on that island with.
She's not a nature girl.
She did not cross oceans to come onto an island and survive.
God.
I will tell you that much. That is our president, and she
She
not
knows
gonna be there.
herself.
Yeah.
She said this is not in the branding.
Correct.
No.
That's true, but I feel like depending on the game, she'd be good at like talking her way through and strategizing.
Uh-huh.
She would be so good to
You're
have on
making
the
a
island.
case for her,
Yeah.
but you
I'm
were.
saying she's not coming with
That was a gut reaction. No hesitation.
That's hard.
That's
All
a
of us
good question.
are like, yeah, we can make things happen.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. It's like chaotic, evil, neutral, good, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I said Soul. I love Soul, but she'd be falling asleep like at the most impressive places.
Yes.
Honestly, at the backstage
I
of
am
shows.
envious
Yes.
of that skill. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Full makeup.
But also,
Full makeup.
yeah.
yeah, a strong skill, but axed from the island. Get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too good at the skills.
That's a
Wow.
big question. That was a good question.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, besties. Don't hate us. I didn't say it. They did. But question 2, who is most likely to leave the group chat on red?
Me.
You?
Lucian, appreciate
Yeah.
it.
And you're like, let me own that. Let me just take that
like
one.
had that account for like 6 years and I'm just getting 2,000 followers. That's so bad. That's okay. I'll post pictures one day.
Lucian is very much a call me.
Uh-huh.
Call
Yeah.
me, beat me
Yeah.
if you need to reach me.
Send me a carrier pigeon.
Yes, that's
yeah.
the dyslexia I have.
Yeah.
A little bit of ADHD.
And maybe the beekeeper in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
90-year-old.
Yeah. Letty in.
Please call me.
Yeah. Okay. I feel inclined to believe you, but I'm like, are you just taking the honorable fall because you guys did Gabby and
No,
Soul
that
so
would be
dirty?
me. I am so bad at social media. Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Well, we'll take it. Question 3. This is a very sweet one, a fun one. What are 3 words you would use to describe the housemate sitting next to you, and specifically their drag or art? But 5 seconds. We'll give you another 5.
Gentle,
Mm-hmm.
powerful, intentional.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Good luck following that.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
In
Okay, well,
5.
stunning. Stunning is my first word.
Clock it.
Stunning. Mesmerizing. Powerful is also my word for you.
I'm feeling gracious. I was like stunning, mesmerizing, same thing, different font. But you know what? Both beautiful. So
Two
I like
bodies,
it.
one brain.
Yeah.
But a vibe.
Bye-bye. I'll take it. Question 4. Is there an artist collective or performance group that inspires the House of Ebonii?
Ooh, our answers might be a little
The
bit
House of Virgo.
Yeah.
I guess.
I've never heard of the House of
I was going
Virgo.
to say Virgo Nation out in Vancouver as well.
Tell me about them.
They are an all-Indigenous collective in Vancouver. I have seen each of them
Amazing.
perform independently
Yeah,
at
Mhm.
random
See,
places.
like, all of them, yeah.
But
They're lovely.
they're all very, very lovely, super duper
Wow.
talented, and getting to meet like a bunch of them this past time in Victoria. Like, yeah, it's a really good base model, and also the House of Bukaru out in Vancouver.
Yes, of
that
course.
is
Feels like a lot of Vancouver
a lot of
drag.
Vancouver.
A lot of Vancouver
Yes.
drag.
Yeah.
The people have gathered together. Like Virgo Nation, I got to meet some of them at the Rububu Festival a few years ago. And I did like a decolonizing burlesque workshop. And
Which so cool.
So cool.
And only gay people / indigenous people would come up with that. Like we're
Yes.
doing the work out here.
Yes.
Sparkles Plenty did a workshop at she's also part of Virgo Nation,
Yeah.
and she did a workshop at Shade that I was just at, and it was called "Don't Be a B Word, Be a Tree," and it was the best, funniest, most engaging 10-minute listen I've had in a very long time. It was great.
Be a
So-
tree? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Now I'm feeling stupid. Can you explain it to me?
Yeah, like the premise of it is instead of choosing to be a B word, there's other
PR.
things. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
other
yeah.
things that you could invest your time, your energy, your emotions, just everything into to be a better
To be rooted.
person.
To be
To
grounded.
be rooted and grounded. It was really immaculate.
That
Also,
is so cool.
I love listening to Indigenous people talk because
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys got a lot of stories. You guys got the stories. It's very interesting, and beautiful
Right?
to listen to. So yeah.
Absolutely. And here we are performing as drag artists, performance artists on Indigenous lands. So it's the
Correct.
least that we can do.
100%. They're
Wow.
the people who know how to live on this land in like the
Mhm.
good way, and the only way that we can
Mhm.
actually live here
Yeah.
harmoniously is like with those folks like letting us know. So I love being able to just like, I don't know. And yeah, you sent the picture of you hugging a tree at the end of the class.
I did.
That's a good class.
Yeah.
Me and Mix Jackson
yeah.
were like, yeah, let's hug the tree. Let's try this.
Yeah. Practice now. Practice what you preach. Find tree. Go outside. You know, this is like, again, diverging from the normal 5-second quickfire queer, but I'm so happy with it. And it's just so beautiful to see that I really feel like, you tell me if you agree with this, but us as racialized minorities have so much solidarity with our Indigenous communities. And it's really nice to like have guests where that's just known. We feel it. We both speak to it. I'm really appreciating it.
I love it too. Off the jump, and matter of fact,
Off the
this-
jump.
at the beginning of every single show should have some form of land acknowledgement. It's the
Yes,
bare minimum.
please. All right, but final quick fire
yeah.
queer question. I'm excited with this one. I have a bias of what I'm hoping you answer, but in 2026, what Albertan or Canadian city do you have your sights on performing in?
Or Canadian.
Mm-hmm. You could go big, or you could say Lethbridge, Alberta, so that I can see you. I'm here to push my own agenda.
Well, Montreal. I'm gonna say just right off the top. I want to go back to Montreal. I want to go to Montreal. We got to go back to Vancouver, but we obviously have to do an Alberta tour.
Please.
Yeah.
If there's any way I can help finesse a House of Ebonii debut, or even just a few of you if you can make it, like, call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Let's do it.
My answer is also the exact same. I would say Montreal is up on the list in 2026, folks.
Speak on it. Let's see it.
And then Lethbridge is the obvious
Aren't they the
second
same?
answer.
Of course, you put Montreal next to Lethbridge. I don't know what else you would have answered.
The same.
Yeah, correct, I fear. Well, that was your quickfire queer besties devoured. That was so fun. Can you tell me if housemate is like what you would say, or if that sounds kind of stupid?
Housemate, house
Housemate,
member.
house member.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I met your house member, Mix Jackson, and we performed in the same show, The Roll With It. They did this fantastic number inspired by us. Have you seen it before?
Yep.
Of course. And it was so fun, but the thing that stood out to me was how kind they were. So it was really wonderful to meet more people from this collective that you got.
Yeah.
Seeing that,
I'm-
such a sweetie.
Mix Jackson is so lovely, and
Yeah.
that act deserves to be seen more.
It deserves to be seen more. And
Yeah.
I'll say it was one of the first, like I haven't seen something like that in
Yes.
Southern Alberta. I haven't seen it in Lethbridge, certainly. Maybe there's more in Calgary, but
Mhm.
I was so happy to see it.
There's one thing about Mix Jackson's brain, and I never know what's going on in there,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
once it
yeah.
produces on the stage, I just sit and I'm like, how did you do that?
This is brilliant. Teach me. Hug a tree.
Exactly.
100%. They're so good at like crafting things and creating things, and yeah, sometimes we'll just come over like, oh, I just made this. Just like matches a look to something.
Yeah.
They literally turn
So-
themselves into Meg the Stallion for their birthday, like the
Shut
whole
up.
month of their birthday, basically. Music
What's it like to be
video.
God's favorite? I can't even.
That's
Make
what
it
I
home,
said.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah. You and me, one brain. One brain.
Two bodies, one brain,
Two
babe.
bodies, one brain. But they also told me about this is again gonna get bleeped, but the palace.
Oh, yes.
Which, what? I was so excited when they were like, you should come over and check it out and film here next time. And I was like, I just want to see it.
It
I
is-
just want to know.
It's like it's like you walked into like, I don't even know how to say this. It's like you've walked into 1,000-year-old like witch's helm. There's just like
Which
so much.
is what I expect when I
Right.
hear.
It smells great. There's kitties everywhere. Like there's cats everywhere, and they are so kind and nice.
On
and they just
brand.
like every time we're all there practicing, I feel like the cats come in like one at a time to like the practice
Yeah,
phase.
yeah.
Like,
Other members of the house
Yes.
up here. Yeah, the children of the house. But, you know, we've talked about Mix Jackson, but there's also Gabby and Saint, right? Tell me a little bit about those members as well, since I've never met them.
Saint and Gabby have been performing, are the newest on the
Newest?
scene.
Really?
The
Youngest?
members. I guess Mix is technically there too, like similar time, but like
we are the old
Yes.
ones. We are the old
We are
heads.
the old ones.
We're like the oldest in. We're both 94.
Yeah, proud of it.
But the oldest in performance sense, also performing.
Mhm.
But yeah, Saint is, how do we describe Saint? Oh my gosh. Saint Solstice is stunning, beautiful, has immaculate booty.
You need to mention that. I think I'd be upset if I didn't hear that.
It's part of the vibe, it's part of the brand.
The brand.
It is.
No,
Beauty
like
is the
literally,
brand.
literally.
That
is.
all of us is kind of part of the brand.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
make it
yeah.
kind of the thing.
And then Gabby's our president. Yeah, started the house. Like the
Presidente.
reason why we have
Wow.
a house. And
Yeah.
both of them, I mean, we often reminisce because both of them are like 23.
Yeah, they're both 23, very young.
Wow.
Like, Gabby's 24 now, I think.
24.
Yeah, 'cause
Oh,
Gabby's
she's
one
a little
year
younger,
older.
but we do talk about ourselves like, oh, no, in your day, we were, we were doing this.
Diva, before we even started recording, were you not like, maybe I could run for municipal government? Are you kidding me? What 23-year-old is like, guess what?
Maybe municipal wouldn't be that bad.
In the context,
Like
compared to
squinting.
federal or provincial,
Mhm.
I've been naked enough that I can maybe
Yeah.
still be municipal, but not
I
any
think
other
that-
level.
If
I
I
think that
lay
all
my
3 levels of
in-laws-
government are probably horrible to
Probably,
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're part of
Probably
working.
too late.
Janice, we love you. We love you, Diva.
Yeah.
Way more nudes online.
Those younger babies are not
So,
talking about this.
crossover, a hard crossover.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. I guess like us as a house, what's lovely is like the younger folks, the younger ones in our house, like kind of balance us out in a fun way. Like I feel like Gabby makes us more bold, and Soul
That's so
helps
sick.
us rest, I guess, in a funny way. But they also actually make us more bold.
This
in
is
a fun
Sleepy
way.
Island vote off.
Yeah.
The sleepy homie, the homie who has the good genes who can just
Yep.
sleep. Oh no.
Yeah.
But
No, it's good to it as I've been performing for a really long time, and I will say one of the best parts about when we're all performing together, because I am 31
Yeah.
and I'm old and I'm sore all of the
I am
time.
20 minutes behind you. Don't do
Right?
that
Exactly.
to us. Don't do
I'm-
that to us.
But I'm sore. I'm just an old bone
stretching a lot.
girl. Okay.
We've got a lot of yoga.
The best part about it, I get to show up. I get to be pretty. I'm on top of the ball game. I do my anti business. But let me tell you, it feels good to show up and do my slow, sultry burlesque, and then I pack up and I go home afterwards. Soul and Gabby gonna bust it down in a split for you. Soul is gonna be up, shaking every single thing, every single orifice on her body will be shaking and moving across that stage, and
Yeah.
I will be on the sideline, clapping and cheering, ready to bring you
Stirring
one.
the tea in your hand here. The youths. I remember when.
And I will be home by 11. I know.
That's so funny.
And we'll pop it out
Robe,
sometimes.
chiffon.
Yeah. But definitely not like sometimes we'll be backstage and Gabby's like, I don't think I'm gonna do a back bend. And then like 5 minutes later it's like, woo! And everyone's
It's death
screaming.
defying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
so
why
they
we need
take
them.
the stunts for us.
I will-
doing the
Yeah.
stunt.
Also,
Yeah.
never forget Gabby's her first like technically like burlesque act she
So
did,
cool.
and it was to one of the songs on Cowboy Carter, and she didn't tell me anything. She said she needed help taking off her outfit, her shirt. So I went to go and zip it, and then halfway through the performance, I've never seen her do this before. I didn't think she could do it. She bends, she takes off the top, throws it to the side, goes into a back bend while lip syncing. And
No, this is gay algebra.
I'm saying, and
I'm trying to visualize this and getting lost up here.
and she just did all that. Tell me anything. And also, I was recording, so the fact of the matter was, I'm like sitting there. I can't scream
Gagged.
too loud. I can't share too much.
Gagged.
It was actually great. So, but that's it. They got all the back bends. I don't do that.
Yeah. But I'm hearing that Haus Ebonii, it is high energy. It is exciting. It is new. And then, of course, with those of us that are older, in bed by 9 p.m. or whatever.
That's ideal.
We're gonna give you
Yeah.
all of our energy. All of our energy. We're gonna stretch all day for it. is going to be ready. But when we're done.
I'm gonna give you the best 5 minutes you've ever seen, and then I'm leaving.
And then I will get my tip, and then I will go, because that is work, mama. But, tell me some more things that you feel beyond just being this groundbreaking first Black performance house in Alberta that makes the house unique, and some things that you're really proud of.
Oh, that's so kind. I have so many things I'm proud of. I feel like one big one is people often think or ask us if we're a non-for-profit or we have a board or something, but like we are just 5 people.
We're just 5
like
besties in the palace.
hang out.
Exactly.
Yeah, hang out palace and rehearse when we have time to all rehearse.
Yeah.
But we're just 5 people who like care about each other a lot, and
family.
yeah,
There's no registrations. There's no file folder.
Membership
it is just
fee.
like it's just a bunch of people who come together and like choose each other.
Yes, it's like a choice we make every day. We wake up and want to be a part of the house. I'd say I'm really proud of. We've gotten some of the weirdest compliments you could ever imagine.
Oh, I can't. Yeah.
But I would say I'm really proud of how diverse our house is. We have folks like chronically ill, dark skin, plus size,
Right.
all shapes, all sizes, all bodies. I actually realized it when I was planning for our first group number, trying to find us outfits that all match, coordinate. And I was like, damn, we are doing the thing across the board. And so it feels really good to know that when you do book the House of Ebonii, baby, you are absolutely getting diversity. Okay.
Yes.
That is, and none of us really do the same thing, I would say, either when it comes to our artistic skill and what we're putting on the stage.
Yeah.
None of it is really the same at all, to be honest with you.
Dude, and I feel like that's so important to speak to, because even just from, again, my experience of being Filipino and now entering the world of media, performance myself, I feel like sometimes you're viewed as the EDINA checkbox, where it's like, if I get one Asian person, I've done it for Asia. And I'm like, are you joking?
I've done it for Asia is a good one.
Isn't that a criminal thing to say?
But I know that is literally how some producers' brains work.
Asia, done. We've made it. We've locked it down. So I'm so happy to amplify that, yes, there's the house, but you are all individual, fierce, unique performers on your own. Yeah, I think that's something to highlight. But I keep thinking to myself, we're saying the term house, and one thing that's unique with Queer in Alberta is, yes, the audience is full of queer folks, 2S, LGBTQI+, but actually there's a lot of allies or parents of queer and trans kids who are sitting here going, what is a kiki? Or what is a house? So maybe we should take a moment to have a quick queer history moment and teaching. So when we say Haus Ebonii, it's not spelled the same way as a brick and mortar house like the one that we're in. And then let's maybe see if together we can explain what it is. What is a house and where did it come from?
I actually think I don't think we can start that without talking about Ballroom.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I
Yeah,
agree.
think,
I totally agree.
So houses. There's different kinds of houses.
Haus.
Yes. So we spell our house house.
The house. The house.
And that really comes from, I guess it can come from fashion houses. It's kind of the use of the pronunciation. We also intentionally, because there is a Haus of Ebonii that is a part of the ballroom scene, we did want to differentiate ourselves. Because we're all in the scene as well. So we wanted our drag house to have a separate name. Because we are not the Haus of Ebonii, the ballroom legacy.
All
legendary.
Legendary.
And then
we
there's
are
us.
our own version and therefore Googleably different.
Googleably.
The way it's EB. You guys spell it again.
EBONII.
The double I's.
Okay.
Clock it.
Wait, that was so hot. Do it again.
We do gotta record that. But so ballroom. Okay, this is I gotta put down.
Yeah, we're sitting.
down my
We're
water.
getting adjusted. School is in session, honey.
School's learning. So queer history.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Always lovely to talk about. Very intentionally, our queer history has been taken from us, right? So a lot of folks don't know a lot of these things, and that's okay. Ballroom has hypothetically 2 different starting points.
This is
Some
so
people-
good. I'm set. I'm ready.
Stu. I'm gay Miss Frizzle. I'm Miss Frizzle.
Yes,
I'm Miss
though.
That's
pretty
good.
good.
It's pretty good.
I'd hop on the magic school bus. Let's go.
Ballroom has hypothetically 2 different starting points. Some people clock it at think the Harlem Renaissance, think of these more like drag balls.
And this is in the United States.
In the United States.
Yeah.
So we're talking more, I mean, ballroom, more New York, but drag balls have been going on, I guess, like since the colony and the colonials have decided that queer people can join the party.
Yeah.
So we've always been doing this.
Yep.
And I actually started using the analogy similar to Carnival in the Caribbean, where folks were not allowed to come party with their the colonists, their slavers, at the end of Lent. So they like made their own party, and that's why Carnival exists.
Yeah,
but I think this is just like things that people be doing like everywhere. It's like, oh, you didn't let us come to the party. We're going to make
our own, and it's
party,
better,
and it's gonna be better.
It's gonna be so
And
much
then you're
better.
gonna try to come to it and steal our party later, but that's hundreds of years. But yes, so
But yes.
so ballroom,
They really did that.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They were really doing that. I mean, one of the first drag queens, self-proclaimed drag queens, was William Dorsey Swan, who was a black man who was just dressing up, having a good time, and then of course like the cops are like, oh, something suspicious this way. But the first use of the term in America for drag was that for drag. But drag balls were basically gay parties that people started to bring people together because they weren't allowed to.
They needed safe spaces.
They
They
needed
needed
safe
community.
spaces to express themselves, to dress in illegal ways at that time. So we're talking like 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s.
We are back in the history right now.
1818, it was a still drum carol. Yeah. And then 1820, so Harlem Renaissance, there's some energy there, but like a lot of what is considered ballroom with the categories started in 1960s, 1970s in New York. So in the 1960s, famously Crystal LaBeija was at a ball. So one of those like queer balls, which is very similar to a pageant and very similar to the Imperial Sovereign Court of the Wild Rose that we have here.
Well, that's what I was going to say too, because not to interrupt you, but similar thing. People hear ballroom and they think Bridgerton, but that is not what we're talking about right now.
No, there's different kinds of, so there's ball pageants. And then ballroom scene kind of gestated from that. But very intentionally, we were having these queer balls that were kind of more started in the earlier period. But they weren't including trans folks. They weren't including people of color. They were mostly gay, cis, white men who were...
I need to hide my face. Yeah. I think that's on HD. Cut to somebody else.
Mine too. Zoom
The
in on
homies,
Lucian.
and we love our gay cis white men, but unfortunately for a very long time, because they had a lot of internal hurt by being shamed for being more feminine, they did not make space for anybody they thought was more feminine. So the trans homies were not allowed to be in these balls. We wouldn't win them. And very famously, like also were like bleaching their skin and stuff like that to try to win these balls because only
light skin.
The white cis gay men were winning these ball pageants that they were having. So very unfortunate. And there's a very famous movie called The Queen. You can even watch it on YouTube.
Hey, cue that up. Cue that up.
Where Crystal LaBeija, who goes on to start the House of LaBeija, famously says, like, I am beautiful. The color of my skin is beautiful. And it was after she lost, and she obviously looked clockably better than the other girlies who were there.
And the way she knew it, right?
Yes.
Like,
and it'd been going on for quite some time.
Yeah.
So they started to start their own balls. They started to start their own functions where the categories were intentionally part of the function was to make sure that their community would be winning. So there was going to be different categories in these different, I guess, like kind of more colonial balls, because the intention was to make...
balls. Does that feel like, ugh?
Yeah, I mean, like it kind of, it
is
still
what it
does
was.
kind of gestate from that, but the ways, I mean, they switched up what you could win and what you could walk and how it looked. So I feel like that flavor of adding, of the flavor of adding like black and Latino culture really, changed that. And now we see what ballroom
Here we go.
has gestated into, and a lot of folks think of specifically Vogue, like the song, the Madonna song, popularized it in like the 90s, and the aspects of movement. But Vogue is just an aspect of ballroom. It's the dance style. It's one part of dance style, and there's different kinds of voguing. But there's so many categories. We're sitting with Edmonton's first best dressed winner,
Hey,
grand prize.
okay, demure.
Yes.
But I actually walked that ball. That was Edmonton's first ever ball, which Lucian produced and did everything
That's
for.
so amazing.
And I actually walked that as a 007 because I'm not in a ballroom house.
I just
so.
learned about that term last night when I was like, Google, a little more research. I thought it was so fun.
Yeah. So, and that is where it gets. Actually, it's getting very interesting in the Edmonton scene. So you are in these different houses. They came for the first year. They poached. They tried to get some people to join their different house. And it's I don't know. You probably can explain it better. But like a house in ballroom is a collection of people who, first of all, your family. You want to win. I think that is kind of the main goal in a lot of houses.
Yeah.
Titles.
And like everybody kind of has their own. Well, not you can switch and flop like which category you want to walk,
But you have a
generally, you have your
something.
own kind of like superpower, which I do think is so beautiful in the house structure. And compared to, of course, like in the 80s and 90s in New York, when ballroom, like a lot of what this pulls from the roots of it it was more about like actual living in houses together.
Yes.
Because of
Yeah.
like more the AIDS crisis at the time. And for a lot of our community, like being Black and brown and being queer are not...
It's a whole other level.
Yeah, it's a whole other level. Like
Yep.
a lot of us get kicked out at higher rates and have a harder time with our family because the implantation of colonial views in the area.
Whisper,
that is not
whisper into the
ours.
hot mic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not ours. It's okay for us to be gay. But yeah, in our community, it's very hard. So there's the reason for that was to make physical houses, and for a long time that was a part of the component was you would live physically in a house with somebody. But now they are more like they're international houses. There's houses you can be asked to be in a house. You can be like us and be orphans 007 in the scene. You can wait to be in a house and kind of feel it out, which is kind of what I am doing. But I think it is what I've seen from it so far, just in the last few years we've had ballroom here, is it's so beautiful that so many people know so many other people now in different cities. Like you have gay friends that
It's
you can
so
like just
cool.
meet and know somewhere else. And I know if somebody else is traveling somewhere else, they're going to be like, safe.
And it was a pretty big, like when we first formed the house, it was initially spelled HAUSEBONY. And then me and Lucian spoke and we were like, oh, wait a minute. Pause.
change
Hold
it.
up a minute. We know our history and our education.
Let me just sit up a little straighter.
I'm just
Regal.
we know how this works.
Yeah.
And we are not the legendary ballroom house. We do not want to be associated because they've done so much for the ballroom scene, the ballroom community.
Yeah.
Like those are
Give them
that
their
is a legendary
flowers.
house. And so we just made the decision our main focus is going to be on drag, burlesque, and performing.
Right.
We'll spell it HAUS. And then we changed how we spelt it. And so yeah, that's kind of just like our little collective. We have a couple of them here in Edmonton too. There are a couple of different like drag performance houses. Everybody's different. Everybody's a little bit different, but I think the general vibe is the same. We want it to feel a sense of community, feel a sense of like safety, and like have people around us who, I don't know, have that kind of similar mindset that we do. So yeah.
You know, Lethbridge has started to have it's been going on for a while, but it's now becoming much larger scale, like ballroom culture. There's a ball that happens. It was just in September, I think, and it was called Satanic Panic, which was kind of fun. So this is happening in the community that I'm representing, but I haven't seen something to this scale yet. So I would love to come and just even spectate or, you know, be on the sidelines because I've been so curious about it for a long time.
Yes, you're welcome anytime.
Thank
It's beautiful
you.
to see it grow. I go back and mention I applied for a grant from the Edmonton Arts Council in 2023 to bring ballroom to Edmonton, and it was just after years and years and years of being a performer in the scene. I was a burlesque performer first. I started in 2017 and then moving into drag and doing both, and there's just never been not calls for why isn't there more diversity, why isn't there more this, how do we have more casting, and we still have shows where there's all like white casting still
Everywhere.
everywhere.
All the time.
Yeah, and I did just get to the point where I realized like there's no way for other people to make something that's good enough. Right? It does have to just come from us, and they need to support us in making that possible, and that's really all that can happen there.
Well, even when I see the video and footage, I remember seeing footage of you walking in this amazing outfit.
My
Like,
ball gown.
yes, so much fun. But I just immediately noticed how many people of color were in the audience, which is how it should be. But me being in a smaller city in southern Alberta, Bible Belt, I don't get the opportunity for that. So that's why I was like, even in the queer spaces for BIPOC folks I've been in Southern Alberta, it's never been like that. So very soon, I hope that I can come.
Yes.
And I want to say I should basically give you your PhD in teaching all of this, because that was such an excellent explanation. I had a quote here that I was like, we can sum it in this, but you got it. I don't think we even need to go over that.
I would just like to point out that Lucian takes it very lightly and does not give herself her own flowers for being the person who physically, literally brought Ballroom here to Edmonton.
Name it.
And when there is all this discourse and all of these things happening, I always circle back to you to remind yourself that you did that. There would be there's a ball happening tomorrow. That would not be happening if you did not decide to apply for that grant, make your Instagram post, and just do what nobody else in the city was going to do. And you know what? Honestly, it usually
Are
is
we all
a-
crying? Like, hold it.
It usually is, unfortunately, it's usually a burnt out Black woman who comes and does the thing that needs to be done.
Say
And
it
you
loud. Say it
did
loud.
that from just even like collaborating and talking to the legends in other cities, because we don't have any parents here, you know? And like you really sat, you listened to the legends, you did the work. People had training, there was classes before. Like you really went ahead and said, hey, I don't like how white and male and straight and just weird everything is here. And you're like, I'm going to do this. And now it's like exploding 2 years later. I love watching it. I get to be that girl who was #1 best dressed. But I get so much. You always get your flowers every single time. And like, don't forget it.
I'm so glad you said that. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Thank you, homie. It's hard out here. Like it's
hard
hard
on
out here to big up yourself in that way, because there's so many other ways I feel like I could have. Oh no, I could have done better. I could have. Yeah, there's a lot of times I feel like in life it's hard to just be. I don't know. I have a hard time just like taking in how beautiful that is and how sweet it is. And
I don't know if it's the same, but sometimes I feel that even culturally, like it's been so ingrained into me to be humble and to just work hard and rise above. So if there's any similarity there, I understand.
I feel like it is a part of like I'm just part of how I grew up was being told that I'm to give of myself.
Yes.
And that is love. But I'm only just like realizing I need to give more of that juice to myself.
Absolutely.
A little bit more. That's why I'm no longer running an urban agriculture business and starting the Ballroom project and serving
Yeah.
and I took a step back because I started the Ballroom project by myself, fully burnt myself out. I finished my philosophy degree like right before. It was
They
wild.
do it, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I'm like, huh?
I didn't let myself slow down at all. It was just
Every
like,
3 months in the group chat, I'm like, we could not possibly have the same 24 hours in a day.
You are staying on the island for Survivor. You are essential to this operation.
We actually do make jokes if there was a zombie apocalypse like that. Like, Lucian is the baseline.
100%.
I had army stepdad vet. He wasn't great, but for apocalypse prep, I'm ready.
Gardening, bees, food.
That's true, yeah.
Wow.
I think there's a very beautiful line between, because you grow up Black and in your family you are taught a lot of times, especially if your family was super religious, to be humble, to give all your money to the church,
But it's
even
like
though you're
sinful
11.
to take pride in anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And I am so happy I grew out of that a very, very long time ago, because if you live your life in that mindset, you don't get to relish in the moments where you get to be like, dang, I did do that. Like I was that girl that brought Ballroom here. There's a ball happening tomorrow that again will not be happening if you did not do that. And so like you got to find the balance in between those, just being like, I am the baddest woman that has ever stepped on this planet, and like also being like, but there's an aspect where as good as it feels, I also did this for my community. And I think that's where the balance and the good feelings come, being able to be like, yes, I've poured it in, I've done so much for the community, and it feels good to take all that and feel good about it.
And you know the best part? I am so happy you gave Lou their flowers, because now it's not just us in this room. It's a million Canadians on TELUS Optic TV that are going to remember that you did this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And
No.
never forget it.
And
Lou
never
00.
forget it. No, that was
feel like
beautiful.
I really thank you. I do.
A little gushies, a little moment.
I feel it most, I guess, when I have I like have other people in the scene. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm only 30. Sometimes I'm called elder.
Yeah.
And I handle a queer elder.
I get matriarch a lot.
You know.
Screams internally. But I guess most of us don't have enough role models, so I'll take it, I guess. I mean, I being queer, called queer elder aside, I am so I think
Segue
the
from
moments I
Shrek.
feel the most joy about Ballroom and the most like I let in that big like lovely feeling is when I have other people tell me like who are in the ball scene now, who are in houses, who have other queer friends. Like there's particularly a couple people I can think of who had like just immigrated to Canada too, and just like just finding queer people, and who have just said such sweet things to be like, I wouldn't be here in this place if you didn't do that, and I wouldn't have friends in the same way, and that does make me feel so good.
I mean,
like,
where are the
even
tissues?
just those things.
Where are they?
Big feelings, but I think that's especially I had like not a good childhood. I had not a good childhood and not a lot of support and community in that way. And I really do think this is the one way we can keep each other alive, like in a very serious way, especially in this place, is just finding those little pockets. And it doesn't mean that we all have to be best friends with each other, but just cultivating those spaces so we can make sure that those other people find those people.
And coming to the end of the ball, which was really beautiful too, is you were like, okay, folks, I did all these classes. I've just hosted Edmonton's first ball. I'm done. I got to take a break. I'm out.
I'm hugging
and
a tree.
The fact that we are, next year will be year 3 of Yeg Ballroom's existence, I do believe, right? Next year will be year 3, which meant the community still existed. And that community is very much based on the backs of Black and brown individuals who wanted to keep it going, who saw the beauty, who saw that you really needed a break because you've done so much, but they were like, we can help and pick it up in this way.
Sustain it.
Exactly.
sustain it.
To make it sustainable. That's
And
one of the
Edmonton
hardest parts.
More than has. Like that's what I think is beautiful about burlesque and drag and ballroom. Like Edmonton does have the potential, even though we're a smaller city, there's so many people who are really invested in performance and in performing here that like regardless, it's always hard to find the grant money, find the things, but like people are invested in making this happen. And I gotta shout out like Marco, Andrew, and Mayhem for keeping Ballroom alive after I left. They all have been kicking it. I was able to pay myself from the grant funds from the beginning of it, but they have just like been keeping sessions going out of the good and love of their heart. And people have continued to come. And that's also the big thing too, is like people have come to sessions, people have started their own house sessions. Like it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see, and it's also like watching like a kid grow up and it's like it's past me now. Like I can't control this.
Once again, us being like as the elders, we're really doing well here.
I won't have birth children, so this works.
It's sometimes, you know what, that is a portion of it too, is like you're watching your baby, right? You're watching like Ballroom grow up, take on and then you're watching people do so, and you have to let people make mistakes. I think that is the biggest part about being this elder or old. We cannot control everything. You gotta let people make their own mistakes. You gotta make people like do all that. They can ask you for help if they want, but we cannot do everything. And that is kind of the beautiful parts of how I will say as well with the Edmonton and performance community, even though I am so frustrated all the time, it is a very beautiful place to live, and it's a very beautiful place to be. And there's just a lot of different people doing a lot of different things with the same goal in kind of mind, which I don't think you get that in a lot of other cities or towns. So
you guys, I keep thinking to myself, a move in the future, Calgary or Edmonton, and I don't know.
You're the Austin. Would you want to live in Dallas or would you want to live in Austin?
That is so real. But no, like hearing about the community, it's a tough choice. It's a tough choice.
I do love their Black and brown drag performers a little bit more here. I will say that much. See?
Coming up next on Queer in Alberta.
And those 2 days, just watching so many Black, beautiful, queer performers from all over Canada make magic in this tiny town. We do get skipped. We do get skipped for a lot of the cool stuff that happens. It was just groundbreaking. Like, it was a very proud moment for me as like the auntie of the Haus of Ebonii. But along with that, I think that show really helped us set us up on our future. Like, we got to travel to Vancouver as a house for Mick Spookaroo's birthday. So you really just got to see and like witness, like, I don't know, that community allyship and just like, I am in Alberta, I am Black, I'm queer, I see you. I see you over there in Vancouver doing what you guys are doing, being also Black, queer, and trans. Like, we see each other in a way that's so beautiful. And I hope more people get to experience this, honestly.